2 minutes left. 4th down and 7 after the 2-minute warning. So the Eagles have to get to the 3. If they don't, they still have their timeouts. They have all 3. Could get the ball back.
I just wonder if they might come back to that play this time. You've got Ertz down tight. They ran the pick the last time. The little wheel to the back. This time Boston Scott in there was there.
Scott flares to his left. McCown, he's going to get taken down. Couldn't even get the pass away. And taken down there, Clowney and Reed combined. So 156 now. And Seattle gets the ball back.
Chip season coming soon to NBC.
So during the regular season, the Seahawks defense had only 28 sacks. That's fewer than 2 per game. Tied for second fewest in the league. Tonight, 7 sacks.
Look out. I mean, really, if Clowney continues to play the way that he's playing, talk about a team, maybe they can go on that run again.
So Philadelphia has all of its timeouts. And Seattle's going to make them use them with 156. Start with a toss here to Homer. Out to the 11-yard line. A little bit a dangerous play when you're backed up at your own 10 or 11-yard line. Timeout taken by the Eagles.
Yeah, and you know what's coming now. So it is all-out pressure, all-out blitz. If you had the nerve to try a pass, at best you're going to get man-to-man coverage with no free safety in the middle of the field. Your receivers have been making big play after big play. Lockett's a huge threat down the field. Metcalf has been a huge threat down the field. You would like your odds in this situation, throwing one of those balls, but you also want to eat up all these timeouts.
Seahawks have been here before. Told you earlier, almost every game this year's been a nail-biter. Had one last week, had one tonight. Lynch is in the game with Valor, the fullback. Give it to Lynch. And he gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd down and long. And Philadelphia uses its second timeout. Throw here? You're thinking, aren't you?
I am.
See the wheel spinning.
Well, I mean, it's hard. You want that last timeout because you've got a backup quarterback in the game, right?
Sure.
And you want him to have as little at his disposal as possible. So I desperately want that timeout. You can't lose the game from where you are. They could tie it. I think at this point, you put the ball in the hands of your best player, who's Russell Wilson. If you like it, take it. If you don't like it, check it down and see what happens from there. Or he takes off and runs. I would trust Russell Wilson with the ball right here.
8 years in the league, never missed a start. Been there, done that. They bunch 3 receivers to the right.
This great cover 0.
Here come the Eagles. And Wilson's going to go deep downfield, and you've got an open man in Metcalf to the 50-yard line. And that, in all likelihood, will write a finish to this one.
Well, I love the play call. I really do. Brian Schottenheimer, that was brilliant. They knew what they had to do. There was going to be the cover 0. You're going to get the safety out of the middle of the field. So everything's going to be one-on-one on the outside. You put your big stud, who's 6'3", down the field, and he is learning how to do those big contested catches. And what a force this guy has started to become now late in the season. He was not one of these sophisticated route runners coming out, but blew the combine away with things like that. I mean, just physical feats of athleticism. And now they're finally starting to translate into plays in the biggest of moments.
Metcalf, 160 yards, 7 catches. Kneel down here for Russell Wilson. 1 or 2 more, and that will do it. So there's a guy, we talked about him before. A lot of people thought he'd go in the first round. He did too. He was very upset he lasted till the second round. Played in Mississippi, 9th wide receiver chosen.
I mean, if you went back and watched him in college, and you said he was going to be the 9th receiver, I just remember watching the draft. I had him as the 7th pick. And here he was going. I said, there's something wrong with this guy. He has some issues, some off-the-field thing. He's a bad guy. There's something that I don't know about this guy. And we met him, and he was a hard studying guy. Russell Wilson says he puts out this 12-page document, has protections and coverages and everything. He memorizes the whole thing. He's become a student of the game, and Russell Wilson just loves him.
One more kneel down. We mentioned before, there's never been a 5-6 matchup in a conference championship game. But if Minnesota upsets San Francisco next week, and Seattle goes into Green Bay and beats the Packers, it would be Minnesota against Seattle for the NFC Championship in Seattle.
Could happen.
We had a 4-6 back in 2008 with Arizona hosting Philadelphia. And so for the Seattle Seahawks, it is back home and then a trip to Wisconsin. As the clock ticks down to triple zeros.
Congratulations.
I've got to give a lot of credit to the Eagles this year. I mean, they're playing with guys off the street. They're playing with McCown in his 17th season, who's coaching high school football in North Carolina, and he has to take over in the wild card game.
And you know what happened to Josh McCown? He's 40 years old. On that last 4th down play, a big gaping hole opened up. And Josh McCown remembered when he was 18 years old, and when he saw a hole like that, he would run through into the end zone. What he forgot was that he was 40 years old, and Clowney was on the other side and was just a better athlete than he was at this point.
Sometimes we're not who we think we are.
We know it well.
Play you're talking about coming up right here.
Benny, what's up?
But you'll see the hole open up over here on this side, and you think, oh boy, I've got a clear path to the end zone. No, I don't. So basically, Clowney chased him down. That was Jaron Reed in there on that play as well. He had the little hitch in his giddy up there anyway, and that was that.
Pete Carroll, his season gets extended. So interesting was Seattle. Could have been 1, could have been 3, wind up number 5, and we go to Michelle.
All right, I'm with a pretty excited Jadeveon Clowney. You told me the other day that you were really hurting, that core injury was bothering you, but you knew the team needed your energy. What were you able to do?
Man, just go out there and play, man. Just let it loose on Sunday with my teammates, man. Just give them everything I got. I came out here and did that, and we gave them work to win today.
28 sacks in the regular season for this team, 7 tonight. How do you explain that?
They got to step it up in the playoffs. We know that. We knew it was going to be a up front game the whole game. They had a great offensive line with great veteran players. We knew that was going to be the case up front. We got to stop them up front and come out of the way. It's going to be on the D-line.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's turn to DK Metcalf. Let's start with the touchdown, okay? So you catch it and you're falling down, but you have the presence of mind to get back up and get it into the end zone. What happened?
I caught the ball. I didn't feel anybody touch me, and I got back up and I wanted a touchdown. I wanted a touchdown real bad.
Did you know you had it?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Me and Russ practiced it all week, and when he called the play, I knew it was going to come to me.
You have really changed this offense. For everyone watching it, seeing your development this season and the connection that you've gotten with Russell. How has that evolved?
Man, I just give thanks to God, man, for my work ethic and, just for him putting me in this position, and then for him blessing me with the leaders that we have on this team, like Bobby, Russ, Locke, and Dwayne Brown. They really brought me and took me under their wing when I first got here. And, just speaks a lot about this team.
I can't help but ask you about falling to the second round in the draft, and it wasn't fun for you. How much does it make this kind of performance sweeter for you, knowing that so many teams passed you?
It's great. I think falling to the second round was the best thing that happened to me because I got a chip on my shoulder every time I play.
Congratulations on the win.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
He had the play, Russell, that really iced this game, that big pass. What was the call?
Oh, I can't tell you the call, but it was a sweet one. Shotty called a great game. We went for it. We had to go win it, and sure enough, DK makes an unbelievable play. I mean, he had so many yards. He was making plays all over the field. Offensive line did a tremendous job against a really, really good defensive line, and all the pressures. We answered everything. We saw everything. We picked it up. We did a great job, and so it was a great game to come back here back east. It's a long ways, and we were able to do it and pull through. We've been road warriors, and it's exciting. We got a great defense, too.
Yeah, you just took the words out of my mouth, the road warrior thing, and the way you've been able to do it, and coming in here and facing a team that had been red hot. Yeah. What do you think made you guys the better team tonight, outside of Carson not being there?
Well, we were consistent. We stayed consistent throughout the game. We knew it was going to be a battle. We answered the call when they did, and we just kept staying the course. And when the game came in on the line, we knew we had to make a play, and sure enough, DK makes it a sweet play. And I think more than anything else, we believe. There's no doubt in us. We believe. We have everything that we want, and we have everything we need. Marshawn's back, too. To see him run in the end zone, that was pretty cool. So we got a lot of good things going for us. We got to stay the course, though.
How would you describe why it is that Marshawn is so universally loved and appreciated on this team?
Well, he's beast mode, man. He plays the game the right way. He's tough as nails. I mean, the run he had for the touchdown. There's so many things he does well, and he's been great with the younger guys. I mean, how he's taken Homer under his wing, especially Homer being able to get in there a bunch. Turbin, too. Those two guys are true pros, and so it's a lot of fun having them on the team.
You have had some great matchups with Green Bay in the playoffs, and now you're going there again. And again, it's going to require that road mentality. What are you anticipating?
Well, anticipating some snow. Anticipating a great game. They obviously have Aaron. They got a lot of great players. They got a great defensive line. A lot of things they do really well. So I didn't even know who we were playing, to be honest with you. I didn't look all day. I just didn't want to look. So I guess we're going back to Wisconsin. So it'll be a great matchup.
So you seriously didn't know until now that you're going to be?
I didn't look at anything. I didn't know. So we're going back to Wisconsin.
Yeah, you're the Badger. A whole pack of Badgers will be there waiting for you.
I can't wait. Go Hawks. See you guys.
Thanks, Russell. Congratulations. Congratulations, Al.
All right, Michelle, 17-9. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. It starts with Vinny Curry blocking that field goal attempt in the first quarter. Another peek here. So it remained scoreless, and here is the big play. Wentz goes down. Clowney lands on top of him. Goes to the medical tent. Goes to the locker room. And that is the end of his day and his first ever start. Josh McCown, at 40 years old, who had retired, was on television. Get him out there. And all of a sudden, he hits Goddard. He had a nice day. 18 of 24 for 174 yards. Was able to run. Then you have the Marshawn Lynch touchdown before the half to make the score 10-3, and that's at halftime. Classic beast mode right there as he goes into the end zone. The bomb to Metcalf here. Russell Wilson. Metcalf reaching out, taking it down all the way, and then the sealer was right there at the end. 4th and 4 here. Sanders drops it out in the flat, and the last 4th down is here. As Chris said, you forget you're 40 years old and you can't run as fast as you did. And this was the sealer right here. This was the killer, and ended it in effect. Metcalf, a tremendous night. 7 catches for 160 yards. Ertz and McCown, that's the way their season ends. Man. So Seattle goes to Green Bay, which we didn't figure at the start of the day. We thought that we were lined up with New Orleans had won a Seattle-San Francisco finish. It's so interesting. The Seahawks through the years have had as big a home field advantage as any team. 4-4 this year, 7-1 in the regular season on the road. Win again. They love it out here.
And when their defense starts to play like this, I start to pay attention. Because it doesn't matter where you were in September, October, November. What matters is, what are you doing defensively? What are you doing as a football team at this point in the season? How many teams have we seen get hot at the end of the year and carry it right through? But you're talking about a matchup now. Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson going head-to-head. Very similar style quarterbacks. Both of them know how to manipulate the pocket, move up, buy a little time. It is going to be a fantastic matchup.
Yeah. Pete Carroll, with 10 years at the helm, that's 8 times now he's been to postseason. Green Bay, a little spotty off and on throughout the season, but they still wind up as the number 2 seed. They get home field off the bye, but Seattle's got a lot of momentum right now.
Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, those great pass rushers out there, good luck. I mean, whichever one of these 2 pass rushes can end up catching the other quarterback is really probably going to determine the outcome of the game.
So the first game today was Minnesota at New Orleans. That went to overtime. We're going to go to Mike Tirico with the highlights from the game earlier today. Mike.
This weekend, a very tight game started today down in New Orleans. Saints 13-3 team at home, down 10. Drew Brees trying to bring them back. Pass to Taysom Hill here, who threw a 50-yard pass, led the team in rushing with 50 yards, and had that 20-yard TD to make it a 3-point game. Saints got the ball back late, drive into position for a field goal. Will Lutz doesn't hit it pure, but it's good. From 49 yards out, game tied at 20, and we go to overtime for the 4th time in 6 playoff games. Saints never get the ball. For the 3rd consecutive year, they're eliminated on a walk-off. Here's how the Vikings did it. Kirk Cousins getting that first elusive playoff career victory to Adam Thielen, who caught 7 for 129, gets them in position, and then 2 plays later on 3rd and goal, it's Cousins to Kyle Rudolph, and in the end zone where we had the pass interference controversy, this one ruled no offensive pass interference after New York looked at it. A touchdown for Rudolph. The Vikings win 26-20, and Al, they will play the 49ers next week in Santa Clara.
And we'll have that game for you. It's the first game of the divisional weekend. Minnesota, San Francisco. We're on the air at 4:35 Eastern, 1:35 Pacific. Followed at night by Tennessee, number 6, against Baltimore, number 1. And then on Sunday, you've got Houston at Kansas City, 4 against 2 in the afternoon. And then in the evening, the Seattle Seahawks. So they'll get a whole week to rest, taking on the Green Bay Packers. So we go to Santa Clara next week. Yep. 49ers barely got that number 1 seed by inches last week by holding on against Seattle. Against the Vikings, who didn't figure at the start of the day to be there, but Kirk Cousins responded.
He and Adam Thielen, and they just came through. But when you go to New Orleans and basically hold in check that Saints offense, that tells you a little something about Mike Zimmer's defense. And in the same way we were talking about Seattle here, how are you playing now? And right now, that's a team. Think about the gorilla lifted off the back of Steve Young. I got the same feeling with Kirk Cousins at this point. And if that defense is playing up to the way they are, it's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, and the 49ers, of course, the way they use the fullback tight end combination. I mean, George Kittle has had a phenomenal year. Kyle Juszczyk does a great job. The receivers are good. Garoppolo's fine. The defense leaked a little bit toward the end, but they are the number 1 seed.
Kyle Shanahan, one of the great offensive minds in football right now. Some of the combinations that he put together in that game where we were doing against Seattle, just very, very creative. Extra week, they're going to get some people back healthy. Maybe D Ford comes back in that game. So we're going to see the best of the San Francisco 49ers next week.
All right, there's the countdown clock for the Golden Globes coming up in less than 10 minutes, and we'll take a break here. Come right back to Philadelphia.